every day is a bit of a challenge, but to be honest, on the whole, it's been quite good. We quite a close-knit team anyway, so the bond's always been there. It's the same as any job. You get days which are a bit testing and trying, but as a whole, it's been, the transition's been good. The boys are great in the workshop. I can't really fault them too much.
Welcome back to another episode of the HFG podcast. Martin here again, and today we're on the road recording this episode from the boardroom of our Nether Stowey branch down in the depths of West Somerset. On this episode, I'm joined with some of the Hunt Forest Group apprentices, both past and present, to find out a little bit more about the John Deere dealership apprenticeship scheme. We'll also be talking career progression within the business and how you can find out what vacancies we have available, and ultimately how you can become part of the team here at Hunt Forest Group. Nick Hill, our Group Service Manager, is also here to help me navigate my way through the world of ag and turf technicians. Hello Nick, and welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey Martin, you alright?
Nick, you look after the biggest department in the business employee-wise. How many do we have in the service team now at Hunt Forest Group?
So we've got roughly about 100 members of staff in service, we do.
And that's sort of built up of experienced and training service personnel?
Yeah, so there's a sort of wide variety of skill set within the service department, but like you say, so right through from apprentices right up to sort of top level technicians, service managers, etc., etc.
Good. Today we're going to have a look at some of the schemes implemented by Hunt Forest and John Deere. First up, Nick, what's the military hiring programme all about?
Yeah, so military hiring program. So this is a relatively new initiative from John Deere themselves to encourage leavers from the forces into our business sector. In our industry, we're always looking for a good level of service technician, and actually finding those techs has been challenging at times. So actually being able to tap into that resource is hopefully something that should be a good position for us. So what Deere do is they offer some of the sort of the technical learning path to the military leavers they do before they find a placement with a John Deere dealership. So all of our technicians, their initial training path is to achieve certified technician status, and that's made up of 3 levels. That is. Obviously 1, 2, 3, and the military hiring program. So before you join the business, you can be trained up to level 2, which is all the fundamentals. And so actually these guys will have a bit of a better understanding coming into the business. They'll have some service advisor training, some hydraulics, electrics, diagnostics, all that sort of stuff. So it sort of probably gives them a bit of a foot up. And yeah, it's a way of attracting people into the Deere network, really.
And they're almost sort of coming into the business not necessarily on the bottom rung of the ladder.
Exactly that. So, and actually from our side and from my service manager, we've got Andy here with us. Actually, that's a better tool for them to be able to know they can rely on this person straight away. That they're actually we're talking some real top level technicians here. We're talking tank mechanics, etc., etc. All the various different roles in the military. So they're good mechanics as it is, but to get them having an understanding of the Deere systems helps massively. So that's the idea and the concept.
Okay. Have we got anybody within the business at the moment?
We don't at the moment, but we're currently on the lookout for someone. So we've had 2 or 3 people approach us through the program. We've had a couple of days. So I've met a couple people, and we've had sort of ride along days with one of our technicians at Dorchester, because we also want these people to really want to work for us and really understand what the industry is about. So that's what we'll do. So we're in the process already with that. Yeah.
Great. Sounds like a great initiative. Apprenticeships are also a great avenue into the industry and the business for young people looking at a future career. Nick, you know a lot more about it than I do. Firstly, what sort of kind of apprenticeships do we offer?
So from a service perspective, we offer technical apprenticeships, so ag service apprenticeship and grounds care. We would also, I should imagine, offer parts apprenticeships in the business. I mean, that's not my side of the business, but yeah, John Deere have the facilities to enrol someone on a parts apprenticeship. But yeah, fundamentally, it's ag and grounds care apprenticeships. This year, we've been looking to recruit more apprentices for our grounds care and fine turf side of the business. So yeah, that's the roles typically.
And sort of what does that involve?
So it's a lot of on-the-job training. So there's a mix of time spent with your mentor within the business, and then going away to Saxondale for John Deere training. So yeah, it's a real mix there of college coursework, and actually the most important bit is the hands-on work with their mentors within the workplace.
Are there any particular entry requirements for somebody looking to get into an apprenticeship?
Yeah, so typically there's an interview with the service manager at that depot and someone from the HR team, and then and involved in that is is a small practical sort of assignment. We're not talking rebuild a 6-cylinder engine or anything silly like that. It's sort of a competency sort of based thing. Follow some instructions. So we do that, and then what we'll tend to do is sort of 2 or 3 days in like work experience in the depot. I mean, you had that here with some apprentices, Andy. That's how we do that, and then we can sit and see how they sort of integrate into the.
You get a good measure of who they are as a person, what their skill set is,
exactly.
how their enthusiasm levels are.
I think enthusiasm is the most important bit, really. I mean, you've got to remember these young lads coming into the work world. Many have not been in work before; they've come straight from school. So actually, it's just seeing that they're really keen and want to get on.
So how is the qualification structured, Nick?
So from the actual training view with ProVQ, it's based over 3 years on block release. So I think it's about 3 or 4 blocks each year, where the apprentice will be away for sort of 2-3 weeks at a time. They'll progress through each year, they will. And then at the end, there's what's called an endpoint assessment, which is part of the IMI, which is the Institute of Motor Industry. So there's a practical assessment, there is a written assessment, and there is a sort of like a professional discussion, I think they call it, which is a sort of presentation. So the apprentice will have to go through that, and then end result will be sort of a level 3 land-based service technician qualification.
So it's a good mix of practical skills, sort of classroom visits, and real experience with customers and their machines. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the bit they'll get really from the workplace, is that bit with their mentors, being out on site, whether that's on farm, on the golf course, whatever have you, with those customers and learning those key skills.
So how does the mentor scheme work at Hunt Forest Group? Is that we sort of pair up with a like-minded person or sort of area of interest?
Yeah, so they'll pair up initially with sort of a senior service technician within their depot. I mean, and mentoring's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to do that or feels comfortable with that. But actually, we've got a real good group of sort of senior techs across the company who are willing to pair up and sort of help teach and bring along these apprentices. So they'll be sort of shadowing them through the work day. But they're also to help and assist when it comes to their sort of coursework and what have you, and just sort of be their sort of constant point of contact within the normal working day.
And learning from somebody rather than learning out of a textbook.
Yeah, exactly. And I think most of us learn better that way. I think it's probably why we're in the industry.
Joining us first up to tell us all about his experiences so far is Toby Sadler. Toby is an apprentice here at Nether Stowey who has recently completed his first year as an apprentice agricultural technician. Thanks for joining us, Toby, and congratulations on passing the first year of your apprenticeship. How has it been?
It's been really good. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you enjoyed it? How have you found it?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. Spent a lot of time in a workshop and loved my time at college as well.
Yeah,
it's been it's definitely a different experience to what some of my old friends have said from being at school and college. It's definitely a different way of approaching your next steps from school. Sure.
So what attracted you to an apprenticeship at Hunt Forest Group in the first place?
I've grown up around tractors and farming, and I've always liked fixing things since I was, 5 or 6. So it's almost been around me my entire life. And my mum found the
Sort of the advert, was it?
the advert for it
Yeah.
to start with, and she sent it to me, and I was a little bit unsure, but I came for an interview, and that went really well. And it's progressed from there, really. So then I got into the actual apprenticeship itself from mum finding it, which was really good. And then I came on, and I've loved it ever since.
Good old mum, eh?
Yeah, it's good old mum.
So the apprenticeship's obviously made up of time with your mentor here at Hunt Forest Group, but you also spend a fair bit of time at John Deere in Nottingham.
Yeah, so we go up 4 times a year. So that's every 3 months for 2-week blocks. The first block was servicing and maintenance. Second block was health and safety. Third block was engines and cooling and lubrication. And the last block, which I've just been up and done, was metal fabrication and welding.
So it's a nice mix and variety of topics.
Oh, really good.
And I guess for a young lad that's starting out in the world, a couple of weeks away from home with lads your own age, it's probably quite good fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a good laugh. It's a different experience from being at home with your mates. That you go up there and you go make new mates, and it's not something that I've necessarily gone that far away from home before and done, but it's something new that you just sort of just got to take on the chin and just get on with.
Yeah, I guess it's probably a little bit scary, to be honest. It's,
it wasn't too bad for me because I boarded at school, so it wasn't too far out my comfort zone, but it was still a different experience for sure.
I say, well, I was bricking it when I went and did my apprenticeship to start with.
Yeah, so
So fair play to Toby. Yeah.
So what does a typical day as a Hunt Forest Group apprentice involve?
Getting into work, putting my overalls on and my boots, and getting ready for the day, have a cuppa.
You briefed him, Nick, on all the PPE on it.
Yeah, so he's well on top of his risk assessments and all that sort of stuff. So
then tend to go down to Andy Scott's office to ask what we get on for the day. Take my orders and such.
oh, that's very formal, that isn't it?
And then do 2 or 3 hours of work, sort of like up to 10, 11 o'clock, have a cup of tea, and then go back down.
I think you've missed something out there. About 10, 11 o'clock, you shoot out as quick as anyone else to that butty van, don't you?
No, that's twice a week I go out.
Twice a week.
Otherwise,
Apprentice wage.
Yeah.
It is as well. Then come back up and have lunch, and then spend the rest of the afternoon either out in the workshop or on the road somewhere.
So what have you enjoyed most about the role so far?
Just getting stuck into pulling stuff apart and putting it back how it was. Building customer relations and just meeting new people, getting everywhere. And just learning to be able to fix massive expensive bits of machinery.
Is there any sort of particular machines you've enjoyed working on the most or sort of had great success with?
I love working on the throwers and combines just because they're massive and expensive and it's just a bit of fun, but I love it all. I don't really have a favourite.
To be fair, Martin won't know this, but do you want to tell Martin a bit about your little tracks?
Yeah,
your little project.
My little project. Yeah. So was it about last August? We were looking on Stag's auctions just for browns, and we found a John Deere 350 1987 for a couple of grand. I think she was about 6.5, 7 grand on auction, and she was a bit tattered. She'd been sat out for 5 years and needed a bit of work. Anyway, bought her in the end. Gave her a wash. She had some new tyres, a few pieces of glass, new back window, new roof, and she's been potting around. She's been tapping a bit in the engine. Anyway, so we had the head off and we redid all of the valve clearances, and it's got worse. So we are now having to take the head off because we think that either a valve isn't seizing properly or the piston's got slack in because it's making an awful noise as soon as she gets hot.
So learning in your free time as well as when you're at work.
Much.
That's what we like to hear. So would you recommend an apprenticeship as a route into work for other school leavers?
Absolutely. I've loved my experience from leaving school to getting to where I am. I've absolutely loved it. And I've said to quite a few of my mates that are either the year below or 2 years below that it's definitely something that if I was to do it, I'll definitely do it again.
Brilliant. No, thank you. Appreciate all your hard work and effort in this first year, and good luck for the future. I'm sure you'll make a success of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks Toby, and appreciate you coming on the podcast. I managed to catch up with one of our recently qualified apprentices at our Chilbolton branch last week. Congratulations, John, on passing your apprenticeships. Thanks for joining me today. I'm sure it's a bit of a relief for you to have finished all your studies, but I guess it's great to have a skilled job at the end of it all.
Yeah, so, long time coming. 3.5 years in the job, so it's definitely been worthwhile. Good to have the certificates and to see something pay off. On to the next challenge, I suppose. That's what I can say to that.
So what did you enjoy most about the apprenticeship scheme, John?
So, obviously, the number of people that you pick up along the way, that's always a good thing. Different contacts, people able to help you in the future if you need to, as well as the customers as well. You meet so many different customers doing different things. You learn a lot along the way with their help.
And I guess you built a relationship with the customers already, which, hopefully holds you in good stead for the future.
Definitely. People want to know that their technician's going to be able to come out and sort a problem out for them. So the further that you go and the better you do, the more helpful you are to a customer, the more they're going to want to phone up and ask for you to go out there. That's what we strive for at the end of the day.
So how have things changed now you're a fully fledged technician?
For me personally, not a lot's changed. Obviously, the workload's still the same. I'm still looking after a few combines of my own, and I'd say the only thing that's really changed is the amount of responsibility you've got, really. I'm not just the apprentice that can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? It's more so, can you go off and do this? Yeah, that's fine. Could I have a hand doing that by another apprentice? So that's the good thing about being qualified as well, is you get to pass your knowledge on to the youngers, which is what I like doing personally, helping out the younger apprentices to get their work done, because I understand that, but also to teach them different systems and how it works as well. So yeah, I'd say that's the only thing that's really changed going forward.
And I guess that's good if you're, say, a first year apprentice in the role, and you as a role model as such, but you've got somebody you can look up to and ask questions on, knowing that they've gone through it, you've gone through it recently as well.
Definitely. That's what we want to try and do at the end of the day. If there's a first year apprentice or a second year or even a third year apprentice, if they do need a hand, they're more than welcome to ask, and they're able to get that support from other people, which is going to help them to get the certificate that they need as well. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, just helping people out.
Would you recommend this route to others?
100%. So obviously from school, I wasn't looking to come into this industry. Managed to get into it through work experience, and look at where I am now. Even if you don't see yourself doing a job on the spanners, it's definitely a route to take, because there's so many different opportunities in the job just from becoming an apprentice technician. You could go on to a management role, a sales role, a precision agriculture role, even a role with John Deere. There's so many different paths that you could take just from this apprenticeship. So 100% I'd recommend it.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining me, John.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Nick's already introduced him, but we're also joined by Nether Stowey Service Manager Andy Scott. Andy's been in the role here at Stowey for about a year now, having moved up through the workshop ranks in his previous role as a technician. Thanks for coming on, Andy. I guess you are well bedded into your new role now. How are you finding it?
Yeah, hi Martin. Finding it good. Fairly settled in now. Getting there with the role, and every day's a new day and challenge. So still fairly keen, and
Loving it then.
Yeah, loving it.
Loving
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You obviously were looking after foragers sort of before you stepped into the office role. Is it a challenge swapping the tools to a desk job?
Yeah, so mostly combines and foragers really, probably more on the combine side of it. But yeah, the transition's been quite good. I think it's probably a welcome change. I've been on the spanners, I had been on the spanners for about 14, 15 years. And yeah, getting to the point now where like family life and I've got a young boy at home, so it was nice to spend more time, and yeah, it's been a welcome change really.
That's good to hear. So how did you start off with agriculture engineering, John Deere and Hunt Forest Group?
So started off when I was 16, went to college, done college for 2 years, went into a agco dealer, there for 5-6 years, and then I had a bit of a breakout doing bits and pieces I wanted to do myself, and then I went on to a neighbouring John Deere dealer, and I've been with Hunts now for 5 years from there, so been with John Deere for about 7 or 8 years now.
So you've got a lot of experience, not only in the industry but with the product. You already mentioned the having more time with your family, but was that the main decision to progress sort of within the business?
No, not really. I kind of, when I first started doing it, and as soon as I got up and running with it, I always kind of set myself a goal of where I wanted to be. I knew this was kind of what I wanted to do. I didn't expect it to come as early as this, I must admit. So kind of set, by the age of 40, I wanted to be in a more of a managerial role. The opportunity arose within the group, and so put in for it, and got it, and probably been the best decision I've made really. So
It's good to hear.
How did you find all the sort of the interview process and the recruitment process on that side of things?
Quite daunting really, because I don't really like stuff like that too much, but really professional. To be honest, I wasn't treated any different to anyone else coming in for the interviews, which in a way I think is a really good thing. It's from start to finish professional, had good support there, so it's all in all good really.
Yeah, you did pretty well, to be fair.
We better not ask him what his plan is for the next 20 years, Nick. He might be after your job.
He can have it.
No, I'm alright, thanks.
How are you finding managing a team that you were part of just a short while ago? I can't imagine that's the easiest thing at times.
No, every day is a bit of a challenge, but to be honest, on the whole, it's been quite good. We quite a close-knit team anyway, so the bond's always been there. It's the same as any job. You get days which are a bit testing and trying, but as a whole, it's been the transition's been good. The boys are great in the workshop. I can't really fault them too much really.
I think it's those days, isn't it, where you have to sort of separate yourself from the sort of the fun and the banter. Sometimes I think that's the most difficult swap, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the only thing you would note more than anything else is you're not probably one of the guys anymore. Because you're out of it a bit, and that's the only bit that's a bit difficult sometimes. You still, you don't feel not included or anything like that because you do. But it's a different dynamic to it.
Has there been plenty of training on offer, both internally and from John Deere, to help with the transition away from the spanners?
So I've had a lot of help from Nick, who's been down a fair bit, running me through, literally from the day I started doing it to, general day-to-day things, always on the end of the phone if needed, which is great. I've recently just finished the impact training program through John Deere. So it was up to Langer once a month for 3 days, just learning about workshop efficiency, people management and bits and pieces. The training and ongoing training has been brilliant, to be fair.
And I guess when you're managing sort of experienced technicians alongside apprentices, it's good to have a little bit of backup of knowing necessarily how you should go about that, as well as your own ideas on that. Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of the things I was probably going to struggle a little bit with coming into it, is that the people management side of it. Just because I've never had to do that anywhere or never really needed to.
But yeah, with Nick's help and with this impact training, it's really kind of brought it up, and it gives me more of a understanding and knowledge, on how to deal with different situations, slightly different probably to how I would do. And yeah, it's been really good.
So would you say, the pathway to progression was relatively easy, and if anyone else was looking to do it within the business, you'd recommend the route you took?
Yes. As a whole, yes, it's been, it's not too bad. There's been days, it's been a long time, and there is days where you probably feel like any job really, where is it what I want to do? Is it that'll always come into it. I'd say it's been easy. It's been easy at times, but there's always at times where it hasn't been so easy.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that from my own sort of personal perspective as well. Whilst I think easy is probably not the right word.
No,
and it's not to discourage people, because actually I think it's still the best route to get to progress within our business, is having a real good view and understanding of how the business works as a whole. But it's just a lot of time, effort, and lots of sweat and tears to get to
It's a great way to. I think it's the best way, like Nick's saying, it is the best way to come up through, because you learn, from the basics up, you get an understanding, and also as well, like the customers, you build a good customer basis when you are on the road, fixing stuff, and it gains massively coming from that side of it into
you've built that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it's the same thing. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, across the board, and anything in life really. That is the best way to look at it. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out.
Nick, you've obviously worked in a few dealership businesses over the years, and how have you found the pathways to progress based upon your own experiences?
It's been hard. Don't get me wrong, I love what I do, absolutely love what I do, and it's been a lot of hard work to do what I'm doing now, and a lot of sacrifices made along the way, but you wouldn't do it any differently. I think having experienced, I've been an apprentice myself, a service tech, a service manager, I've done a bit in parts as well, so actually I think having an understanding and of those roles, and almost being empathetic to what other people having to go through on a day-to-day basis, I think makes life a lot easier, especially when you're having to, because in our role in service, you're always having to ask for someone to help, essentially. You never get a phone call from a customer saying it's all going well, something's gone wrong, and then we're going to have to go out there and ask that service technician to help to, yes, that is primarily what their job's to do, but actually you need those staff to want to go out and fix it. You need them to be all right, so
the drive and passion for it makes
absolutely. And I think having people understand that you've been there and you've done that as well makes it a lot easier to ask those, when you've got to ask someone to go out at 10 o'clock at night in the middle of winter,
making tough decisions,
exactly,
and tough calls,
and actually I think it's so important to show that you're there willing to support as well at that time. It's so important.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, to be fair.
So Nick, what's the best route to get into an apprenticeship Hunt Forest group?
So obviously keep your eye out on our social medias, the careers page. Sort of annually we tend to sort of roll out a plan for apprenticeships. So that's the best way. But please reach out and contact. Get on the website, contact us. Even if you don't see something they're advertising that pays as much to show that you're keen. So yeah,
And I guess that's probably not just for apprenticeships, but sort of service roles in general.
For anything really, yeah, absolutely. Service roles are always on the lookout for.
Are we hiring for anything at the moment?
Yes, so at the moment we're looking for a couple of grounds care technicians, one out of our Chilbolton depot and one out of Blashford's. I'm also looking for a service admin here at Nether Stowey in Somerset, due to some career progression from the lady who was doing that before. She's taken on sort of an internal promotion, so yeah, we're looking to backfill her role. And then there's some other roles within the sales department in the business as well.
Brilliant. Well, thanks Nick, and thanks Andy for joining us today.
No worries, appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Are you looking for a new challenge within a busy, fast-paced setting? Do you enjoy working as part of a friendly and supportive team and would like to be recognised for your hard work? If the answer is yes, then we want to hear from you. We are currently recruiting for several exciting roles, perfect for enthusiastic and proactive candidates who are ready to join our team. To see our latest career opportunities, visit us online at www.huntforest.com.
That's all we have time for on this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the insight into the apprenticeship scheme and how the progression pathways in the service team works here at Hunt Forest Group. To check out our latest vacancies, visit us online at huntforest.com. Until next time, thanks for listening. Goodbye.